Hello, Ed. I am going to go ahead and get your reading started. Before I do, I'm going to smudge my area real quick. Just fair warning, if you hear anything wonky with the audio, I do have some spirits lingering right here, and they do like to mess with my audio. So if you hear any wailing or anything like that, that is them. So I'm just going to go ahead and clear the energy in my little office here. I'm going to kindly ask the spirits to leave me in peace while I do Ed's reading. I also want to ask God and the Divine Holy Spirit to guide me in this reading in hopes that this reading will make sense. And clear the energy around here. Yeah, I already hear him talking. So again, spirits, if you can kindly please leave this area. I'm going to be doing a reading for Ed. I like to smudge before all my readings. It kind of just clears the energy. I did it prior to actually writing my notes. Before I get started, I want to tell you how I go about working and doing my readings. What I like to do, depending on which spread I do, if I do the longer spreads like the Celtic Cross that I did for you, what I do is spread the cards out in their form, this spread, and I get my general feeling, what I actually know about the cards. I already know the meanings and that sort of thing. But what I also like to do with the longer spreads is get my tarot books. I have about 5 to 10 books upstairs, and I go through the books and get their actual definition, because in the books it actually defines every little color, every little picture in these cards has a specific meaning. So if I feel like it pertains to what you're going through, I'll just jot it down. And what I do is make a Mod Podge list of everything from my gut feeling and what the books say. So that's why it takes me so long to kind of write everything up. Now, I only do that on the larger spreads. It's just more information for you, more clarity and that sort of thing. Since this is such a long reading, I highly suggest grabbing a pen and paper, or if you want to pause the video and actually ask me, just message me and ask a question, because I'm sure you're going to have questions. Well, why did you say this? What does this mean? More clarification. So go ahead and do that. I'm open to answering any questions you may have. Another thing before I get started, if a card is reversed, for instance, this is a normal way to see a card. So if it's reversed, if it's upside down, that reverse cards have multiple meanings. It could literally mean the opposite of what the actual definition of the card means. It could represent the past, what already happened. It could represent other people in the situation, or it could represent the future. It all depends on what the other cards are around it, but also my gut instincts and that sort of thing. So if I pick up on any vibrations or that sort of thing, if I get any messages from spirit, I jot it down. So it just depends on how the cards lay. I think that's about it for right now, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on your reading. As stated, I did a Celtic Cross reading. It is a 10-card spread with a clarification card at the very end. I actually did 2 clarification cards. I felt like you needed more. Clarification cards are just bonuses to kind of summarize the reading, but also may touch base on things that it might have missed. So those are just little bonuses I like to add for my sitters. I don't know too many other tarot readers that actually do clarification cards. I just like to do it because it's more cards. So the first card that I pulled for you, I already showed you. This is the 8 of Cups. Yeah, the 8 of Cups. So what the first card in this spread, the Celtic Cross spread, means, this is the present situation, immediate circumstances, influences, represents the questioner. Now, since I am doing a general reading, you asked for multiple things, love, finance, and that sort of thing. So I'm doing a general reading, which should touch base on multiple avenues. If it doesn't make sense now, it could make sense in the future. You did ask for a future reading. But also, if it doesn't make sense to you, ask your loved ones. I forgot to mention this. So if it doesn't make sense now, it could represent the future, but also ask your loved ones. I just said that, but ask your loved ones if it makes sense to them, because sometimes it may not make sense to you. Like I had a reading for from this lady, and she talked about an affair in my family way back when, and what that affair did was create blockages for relationships in future generations. So I had no idea what that meant. So I went home and asked my aunt, and she actually confirmed that there was an affair and this and that. And the funny thing is, every single person in my family had relationship issues ever since then. So again, if it doesn't make sense now, ask somebody else, or it could represent the future. I've done readings where 2 years down the line, she's like, holy crap. She messaged me, holy crap, this makes sense now. I'm going right through this. So yeah, just let me know if it makes sense. If it doesn't, be patient. So this first card is present situation, immediate circumstances, influences, represents the questioner. So this represents you. So this is the Eight of Cups, and it says turning away from the unknown, heading towards the turning away from the known, heading towards the unknown or the unfamiliar. The Eight of Cups were carefully placed. There was great care put into placing these cups. You see how they're all arranged? They're all stacked in perfect order. So great care, great time was placed into arranging this. Sometimes this often represents your life or things that you're going through. Say a position at work, you take a lot of time to arrange this position at work, or if it's a relationship, just overall in general, that's what the cups represent, that you've taken a lot of time and energy and effort to arrange this situation. But if you could see, this person is heading towards a different direction. He's not looking back. So a lot of care was put into arranging, lots of effort was put into it, but the figure realizes what he's constructed no longer has meaning or no longer works for him, moves towards the mountain range in the distance, which indicates that he is moving towards something of higher value, greater meaning than what was recently achieved. So this is the time, it feels like you're moving on. Either you are moving on or someone else is moving on, but it's a step up. It's may seem really hard at first, because obviously it's going to be really hard to tackle that mountain and walk up that mountain. But sometimes when things are hard, it leads you to better things. It's a higher place. He's moving to a higher place. Time to let go of something from the past. Lots of energy has been invested in this relationship or project, yet in spite of this, it's no longer working and it must be left behind. Sometimes it's clear that a situation or perhaps a relationship has run its course and the only response is to walk away. Don't look back. Have faith. Have faith that there's reasons and purpose for all. And then two things that come up when I wrote down two things. Relationship that has either been a long-term relationship, or moving, or no, actually three things. I wrote down three things. So either moving, literally moving, or it's like a change of pace. Something's completely changing, or having an opportunity to move on to a new position financially. Says that it's an opportunity to make a positive change. So even though it looks scary at first, this mountain would be hard as hell to climb. It's giving you opportunity to move to new lengths, basically. So the next card I'm going to pull for you, and this one is reversed. So again, reverse cards have multiple meanings. Immediate influences or obstacles. This is the Queen of Pentacles reversed. And this card talks about neglecting responsibilities, keeping up appearances regardless of circumstances. And I wrote down that a feminine energy might be part of the problem. I don't know if you're having an issue with a relationship or if this might be an up and coming thing. But it's talking about a female energy creating a feeling of either doubt or insecurities. I might touch base on that more. So it is reversed, so it has multiple meanings. So it's not necessarily relationship driven. Could also be your work, your home, friendships. Just it is a general reading. Ooh, okay. So since it's reversed, this person might not be practical, materialistic, yet, or it could be a generous friend or benefactor. So it could be the opposite. Usually this is a really good card. It's a really positive influence in your life. Somebody that's going to be really beneficial, that's going to be helpful, doesn't take things for granted, is willing to work hard towards what they want. They have a love for luxury and worldly goods, so they are able to actually physically put into that effort to achieve that. But since it's reversed, it feels like the negative side, the opposite. So I don't know if you're having financial issues with a certain person kind of taking you for granted. And also rabbits are a sign of fertility. So I don't know if you are a father or if this person is a mother or if she's going to be a mother. I don't know yet. So let's see. Taking good fortune for granted. Loves to be surrounded by earthly things and beauty. Love of luxury, material goods. So I don't know if she is always like, can you buy me this? Can you do this? Or can you pay for this? Or what have you? But that seems to be, I don't know if it's an issue. Or maybe it's you that has that issue of spending money when you shouldn't. But it feels like money is kind of like, it could be no big deal, but it feels like somebody is like, come on, let's go out to eat, let's go out to drink and just spend a lot of money. Satisfying senses. So enjoy satisfying senses. Good food, good music, good quality materials, and beauty. Beauty in the surroundings. Maybe time to pay attention to sensual needs. Also, maybe that's it. That this person is asking for a lot of attention. Maybe that you already give a lot of time towards spending money on this person, and maybe this person is actually asking for more of an emotional support. That could be it. Or sensual needs, sexual needs, that sort of thing. I don't know if that's an issue. It says, so I'm caught between work necessary. Okay, so I don't know if it's the person is willing to work to earn these things, or if this person is taking it for granted, or if these things are things that are needed, like requesting like back massages or emotional support, like if they ask a question, that sort of thing, not receiving something. Whose labor is okay. So who is putting in more effort is what comes to mind. Who's putting the effort where, and where does it need to be is what's coming up. Labor. So what's really going on with that? And it says needing practical help or is not receiving it. Seeking goals. Somebody has goals in mind and maybe those goals aren't matching the expectations. Maybe you're not on the same page. So this next card is the goal, destiny. What you should expect if this continues. Hopes, fears about the future. Yeah. Okay. So this one is the 5 of rods or wands. It has Different artists depict pictures differently. Some say wands, some say rods. It just depends on the artist. Petty problems, delays, frustrations, tense, bitter struggle, differences of opinion, conflicts, working at cross purposes, blockages, oppression, petty obstacles, impede progress, aggression, antagonism, tension, upset, endure, survive versus actively won, time of frustration, annoyance, and irritability, irritation. Life is conspiring to thwart desires and wishes. So somebody's desires and wishes are not being fulfilled. So I don't know if this is okay. So it's a fear of the future, is what I wrote down. And if you continue this way, this is what you could expect. Let's see. Time of frustration, annoyance, and irritation. Gain perspective. People need to cooperate. Complications, difficult decisions. So it feels like you guys are kind of butting heads, and I don't know if this is in the future or if this is just starting, that you guys are kind of like you aren't on the same page, and it's going to continue. And I don't know if this is just the fears arising or if this is the actual future of the relationship or what's happening. But it feels like it's kind of like petty issues are building up, and it feels like something's got to give. Somebody is asking for one thing, and the other person isn't either willing to kind of compromise or vice versa. This next card is Distant Past Foundations, how it came about. Could include personal history other than background. So it could be background information like childhood, other life experiences. So it could be just what led you up to this point. It's everything from like a minute ago all the way to like childhood. So it could touch base on any of that. Okay, so I feel like... Okay, so this is the Ace of Cups. This is usually a really good card, but in this part of the spread, it feels like this is what you had and this is what you want, but you can't have it right now. So the Ace of Cups, but it also, I don't know. I'm just going to go through my notes and see if I can make sense of, because I'm getting mixed messages right now, and I'm trying to listen to spirit, but I'm also trying to listen to like what I already wrote. So let me read my notes. Let me know if it makes sense. And I might kind of have my own conversation with myself about what I'm feeling right now. So Ace of Cups, new relationships, powerful emotions, love, marriage, or motherhood. So I don't know if you were previously married and this new person came about that was a really strong, loving relationship. So this is the past. We're talking about the past. So I don't know if you have had two major people in your life that kind of major influences. It's a marriage, and then it feels like a new relationship, or it could be talking about a strong relationship with somebody else, but I don't know. Okay, so if you could see, this cup is being filled by 5 streams, and they're all, you know what, they only show 4 in this one, but usually there's 5. See, each book and each artist depicts something else. So in this picture, it's 4 streams, but there's supposed to be 5, overflowing this beautiful chalice, and they're flowing into a pool or a lake. Now the 5 streams are connected with the 5 senses. This is the sight, touch, hearing, taste, and smell. And then the water and cups are connected with feelings, emotions, and relationships, etc. The fact that the cup is overflowing suggests abundance of goodness. And then there's water lilies in the pool. emotional growth. And then I don't know if you could, yeah, in this picture there's a dove flying above. So the dove represents peaceful, loving emotions. And then aces, in any kind of card deck, aces represent 1. So the number 1 represents new beginning, fresh start. In the case of cups, it's often in the realm of relationships, but since this is a general spread, it could mean anything. So you were asking for a general since you wanted something for your work, finances, and a relationship. So this is a general reading, so keep that in mind. If it doesn't make sense towards your relationship, if the other cards don't make sense towards your relationship, it could represent other things. So it talks about love affair between 2 adults or outpouring emotions towards a child. So I didn't know if you were a father, and it says feelings are really strong, a gain that can be enjoyed by a loving relationship. And this is a card of fertility. So fertility is birth, either literal, like having children, or a birth of a creative idea, like something new, like you want to build a business, the birth of your business. So something creative or literal. It says, could also indicate a false start or unfulfilling relationship. Take off the rose-colored glasses, see things for how they really are. So I see 2 things with that. I see 1 is a really healthy, loving relationship. Sorry, my son's screaming up there. He's supposed to be asleep right now, but he's screaming. So 1, I see a loving relationship. 2, I see like one that was a false start and it's causing conflict and it's not resolved and that sort of thing coming up. It feels like you're constantly kind of having to defend yourself, basically. So there's 2 things that are coming up on that. Okay, so this one is recent past actions, behavior, or attitudes. Attitudes could represent your attitude, could represent other people's attitude, could represent how you should have an attitude. It just depends. So this is the Page of Rods or Wands, and this is reversed. Again, multiple meanings. New creative ideas, seeds of inspiration, imagination, strong, positive-looking youth. And pages, these are pages, so they're represented as messengers that bring news. And it also talked about a sun, so I don't know if you have a sun or if somebody else has a sun, but it's talking about the sun. And then this is a card of fire, heat, sun, and passion. Lots of passion. Promise of creative ideas, potential sense of possibility or future growth. Since this is reversed, it may indicate the opposite, that someone isn't adventurous or willing to change for a positive chance for growth. If given the opportunity, you should grab any opportunity to grow, to expand. If supported in the right manner or nurtured in the right manner, if nurturing and support is provided, like seeds in a well-tended garden, things can grow to be prosperous. So if you want a healthy relationship or a healthy job, then you need to focus on what they need. Communication. This is a card of communication, and since it is reversed, it feels like the lines of communication are being blocked. And it talks about children. So again, I don't know if you have an ex-wife, if this is the source of conflict happening, or maybe she is about to be an ex-wife. I don't know. Just need the right environment and encouragement. So invest in what you want to be prosperous. So if you want to be healthy and fit, you have to eat right and go to gym, right? So if you want a healthy relationship, you need to communicate and work together and be cooperative. So it's all up to you what you want to invest your passion in. And it comes to a point where if one person is not doing their part of the relationship, then it's going to start to wither away, basically. And it also, on the negative side, talks about gossiping. I don't know who is talking about someone else, someone telling lies, question mark. It says, stop rumors, don't be shy, make your voice heard. So making your voice heard, if you have certain needs or if your loved one has certain needs, you guys need to communicate and talk about it. This next card is the future influence, near future, short-term changes. This is the Ace of Swords. Radical changes, illusions uncloaked. Illusion uncloaked. So this, when I write that, I honestly feel like someone isn't being 100% truthful. They're not being 100% honest with you, and that's what needs to happen. And you're asking for a relationship and a finance reading. This is a general reading, so if it doesn't make sense again in your relationship, where can it pertain in other perspective? Radical changes, something's about to change. Illusions uncloaked, truth, justice revealed. Double-edged sword cuts for both bad and good, could either heal or kill. So when I wrote that, it feels like one person can either be really freaking nice or they could be really, really negative. And it feels like, I don't want to say bipolar because I don't like to label people, but it feels like that kind of wishy-washy, like, okay, is this person going to be in a good mood and treat me right and fair, or what's going to happen here? So it feels like kind of back and forth. Or it's just unexpected. Sword pointed up for true perception. And then there's a crown or a wreath around the top that equals height of attainment. There is, if you could see, it's made out of plant matter, and each branch is actually a different branch. So one is a olive branch, which represents peace, and the palm branch equals victory. And this is a card of air. Obviously, it's in the air. And this talks about psychologically evaluating things. So what's really going on psychologically? Radical changes, outlook might not be immediately favorable, but but brings a pleasant surprise. So something might seem really negative, like the first card that you pulled. That mountain really looks like a daunting task to accomplish, and it looks really scary at first. So just like in this card, it feels like the beginning of this project or whatever is going on, it feels like it's going to be really unpleasant or unpromising, but it's going to turn out to be really positive after all. So it talks about strength in the face of adversity. Power of the mind, make clear, impartial decisions. And it talks about not plain sailing, speed bumps, conflicts and struggles before solutions to difficulties, headed towards success. There's going to be a breakthrough. And it talks about abuse of power can lead to discontent. Throwing obstacles in others' paths. So I don't know if you or somebody else is making things difficult for other people, but that can cause you either embarrassment or strife in your life. So re-examine your motives and rise above. Be better than that. This next card is about you, your feelings, course of action, or a role you must play. The card that I pulled for you is the Seven of Cups reversed. Okay, so this is the Daydreamer card. Imagination or creativity, daydreams, castles in the air, head in the clouds, world of dreams, dreamer card, creativity, and then, I don't know. So each card has, as I said, each artist has a different depiction of what they want to draw on the cards, and they each mean something else. So the deck that I usually use has a different imagery. So I don't know how. So I'm just going to read what I wrote, even though these pictures aren't the same as what I wrote. So there's usually a dove, which represent the spirit world, which I don't know if this is an angel maybe. I don't know if that's an angel. So that could be the spirit world. And there's jewels. I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to read it. So the wreath is success, jewels is wealth, the dragon is strength, and the castle, you see a castle there, is stability. There's usually a snake, which represents sexuality, and then usually there's a figure popping out of one of these cups, which represents true self awaiting to be discovered. Need to make a choice, many possibilities. Range of options available, focus on just one or two options, otherwise it will remain a confusing dream. Narrow down options, stop building castles in the air. No distractions. Cut through the fluff and get to the heart of the matter. Willpower will carry you through. So if this is about you and the role you must play, honey, it feels like you're just daydreaming about certain things, like if this could happen, or what things were like, or what can I do about this, and all your different options that are actually available. If you have to make a decision and there's too many options available to you, if you don't narrow it down to certain, say, one or two different prospects, then you're going to be left thinking about all of the possibilities, and you need to kind of shorten your view, pick out the two that are the most favorable to you, and focus on those two. Otherwise, you're just going to keep daydreaming. I should have brought water down here. Talking too much. Okay, so this next card will be environmental, outside factors that affect outcome, relationships with other people, and then the control over which, how much control you have over the resolution. So it's a little bit like the last card about the role you must play, but how much control, and other people, your relationship with other people. See, this is one of the cards that I just don't, there's some that I just can't decipher how it could pertain to this reading. So if it doesn't make sense, let me know. But to me, it doesn't really make sense, but it might make sense to you. So this next card is the Hierophant, and he is reversed. So multiple meanings represent other people, could represent the opposite, it just depends. So this card, it represents search for meaning, longing for enlightenment, unity of body, mind, and spirit. So we were talking about a loved one needing something else, right? So this is touching base on that also. A unity of mind, body, and spirit, being connected. It talks about harmony between the masculine and the feminine. So right now it felt like the past cards, it felt like there was disharmony. And this one is talking about that. It's touching base on the harmony between the masculine and feminine. So two people, two forces, kind of combative. And it talks about the ability, or the ability to unlock the gates of heaven and hell, understand good and evil, so right from wrong. I don't know if somebody did something and that's kind of questioning or bringing up this issue, but it's talking about good and evil, good and bad. Okay, so I don't know if it's this one. Okay, so yeah, each card is different. I wrote down book and scroll. So this represents wish to gain knowledge. Since this is reversed, so might mean that somebody is having a closed-mindedness. And it talks about night and day, balancing forces. Talks about, okay, so before I move on, balancing forces. So it will force it, two opposite forces. Maybe you're a little different, and that's why there's confrontation. Talks about heaven and hell in the spirit world. So I wrote down here, do you have a loved one that has passed? Because it's talking about that. So this would be environmental, outside factors that affect the outcome, relationship with other people. So relationship with other people. Do you have a loved one that's in the past? Oftentimes when I do a reading, loved ones like to chime in when I'm writing my notes, and they like to step in and kind of put their 2 cents in and give advice. Oftentimes the Hierophant is somebody that wants to give advice. So it could be a doctor or a counselor or just a friend that you go to when you need extra help. So when I get this card, I feel like this third person, one that's an outside perspective that can give new light to the situation. So I don't know if this is actually a spirit communicating, saying, hey, you need extra help, kind of, even if it's to go talk to a relationship counselor, a marriage counselor, or what have you. It's nothing negative, but it's to kind of validate both of your opinions. So this is a mental process. And then it talks about disregard for rules. So on the negative side, disregard for rules. Who is kind of rebellious in nature? It talks about truth, and then gain perspective, and then spirit. So I don't know if that's literal spirit or your spirit, morality, having that moral compass to do what's right. I don't know. Looks like we have a few more cards. It's already 8:19. I'm sorry, it's past the time. So this card is inner emotions, fears troubling you, secret wishes, desires, attitudes, upcoming changes in perspective. And this card, before I pull it, I want to let you know that even though it looks really scary and daunting, and a lot of people kind of fear this card, it's not a negative card. And it can be a negative card, but majority of the time, that's not what it means. It's not literal. So just keep that in mind. Don't be scared of this card. This is the Death card. So transformation, endings, death of which doesn't serve you, or what has outlived its purpose. So if this is your emotions, fears troubling you, secret wishes, desires, attitudes, upcoming changes in perspective, somebody either is fearing an ending, like whether it's a relationship or a job or what, it's a general reading. Somebody's fearing this change, or they're wanting this change, or both. Either you are fearing it and somebody is wanting it, or vice versa. But it's talking about this major change that's about to happen. And the past card, it was the Ace of Swords, was talking about major change. So something has outlived its purpose. Necessary changes, endings that lead to beginnings. And usually the Death card, the skeleton is usually wearing white, but in this one he's wearing armor. The white represents cloth of birth. And then I can't read my scribble, so I'm going to skip that. It says birth and death. So the connection, connection to birth and death. So once something dies, that leaves room for new growth. So say a flower dies, it rotting, it has its seeds in it, or say it's a fruit and you leave the fruit to rot, that seed and nutrients in that brings new life. It will grow a new plant. So once that happens, once something has died, new growth can happen. It talks about power, status, beauty, and youth don't provide protection against the inevitable change death insists upon when usefulness has outlived its purpose. So nobody can escape this change. Once it's time to move on, it's time. Transformation from one state to another. Be alert to something new. Something new changing. Something new is going to come up. Natural ending. So something is going to naturally end. Comes with a sadness and relief. Could also be a happy experience. So like if you're married, that's the end of your single life. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, or it could mean literal death, but that's not what this is hinting at. It seems like something has essentially outlived its purpose. There's so many possibilities with this card that it's hard to decipher. There's a nostalgia where you're reminiscing on past memories, and that's kind of the concern where you are trying to hold on, you're really sad having memories, but that could also be a good thing. Reminiscing about the past could be a really happy experience. And it talks about leaving a job, leaving a relationship, or the opposite, end of a single life, etc. It's a healthy change. Necessary changes, saying goodbye to something. Accept change so birth can occur. Let go of past issues, or someone refuses to budge. Or it could represent a loss of friendship, and then it also touches base of beware of accidents. Let me move on. So this next card is the outcome. The card that you pulled for that is the King of Swords. This is a really strong masculine figure. Obviously, he can kick some ass. He is an authority figure, majesty for fair, just. Unlike his queen, he has nothing to hide. So is your queen hiding something? It talks about that. Commitment to action on behalf of others. So you have a pure heart, pure wisdom, been through a lot. Seems like one thing after another. Time for action. It talks about flexibility, loyalty, committed, impartial, fairness, weighing up facts rather than feelings. So look at the facts, not the feelings. Could mean you need to gain these qualities, or someone comes into your life that invokes or inspires you to be more like this. Highly analytical, leadership, don't stir up controversy. No cruelty, no mean-spiritedness. Before it talked a couple cards back, it was saying kind of causing controversy and trouble for somebody else. This is also touching base on that. I don't know if it's you or somebody else that's kind of mean-spiritedness. It doesn't feel like it's you. It might be somebody else kind of just starting a drama for the sake of it, but it's unnecessary. Unnecessary drama, that's just negative energy. And energy kind of, what energy you put out there is what you'll get back, basically. It's like it attracts that kind of energy. So if you put out negative energy, that's what you're gonna get, buddy. So it's hinting, don't be like that. If you have some words to say, don't be rude, or just let it slide off your shoulders. If somebody wants to talk crap to you, let it slide off your shoulders. Be better than that. Rise above that, because that's just tacky. This next card. Okay, so these two are the clarification cards. Clarification cards summarize readings, and they also touch base on other things that I might have missed. And the first card, it doesn't look like I wrote down what it is. Okay, so the first card was the King of Wands, or Rods. Strength to back up ideas, self-starter, someone is antsy, can't sit still, can't be controlled, honest, dependable, rational leader, natural leader. Someone's extreme views might prevent them from yielding to others' opinions. And it talks about a salesman's position. So you asked about finances. I don't know if it's a salesman or a retail, but it's bringing about business opportunities in this card. Also, enthusiastic, charming, ambitious. But sometimes when I get this card, I get the car salesman personality. So I don't know if it's you or somebody else, where you go to a dealership and they're willing to say or do anything to get you in that vehicle. So don't be like that, and don't be around people like that, because I mean, yes, it could be a good opportunity, but if they're not being honest and dependable, then you need to walk away, basically. A lot of times I've gotten screwed in buying a car, and you don't want people that's going to take advantage of you, basically. And that's what that's touching base on. And it talked about that earlier in the reading. So if that's the case, don't let people take advantage of you. It talks about ambitions and setting goals and a go-getter, being able to kind of make your own life, basically. Be able to set goals and work to get what you want. So if that's a relationship, if you need to put in effort, we touched base on that in the reading. Also, if it's a job, working hard to get what you want. This next card talks about a new beginning. Okay, so new beginnings. Here comes pennies from heaven. New career or opportunity for growth. Wealth doesn't buy happiness, though. Don't waste money. And it talks about good prospects, firm foundations, boundaries. So set your boundaries. If somebody isn't treating you fairly, set your boundaries. Realize potential, prospects for new foundations. Hard work, success depends on your work ethic. How much do you want to invest in this? How much time and effort do you want to spend on your own personal happiness? If one person isn't making you happy, or if a job isn't making you happy, how much time and effort do you want to invest in something that isn't making you happy? Or if it is making you happy and this person is asking for more from you, how much do you want to invest in that? If you see yourself here and with this person in your life, how much do you want them in your life? You have to put in that effort. So it could go either way. I have to get my son to sleep. I'm sorry it's late. It's already 8:30. I didn't expect to spend this much time on your reading. Let me know if this makes sense. If it doesn't, I can obviously do you another reading. But I do owe you another reading, so let me know what you would like. In this reading, I felt that there was a spirit coming forward, trying to communicate their wishes for you. So if that makes sense, and that's something that you might be interested in, let me know. If you are interested in a spirit reading, please send a picture with a clear vision of their eyes. Like literally, if I could see the color of their eyes, that would be awesome. If not, it's okay. And their first name. So I hope you have a good night, and I hope you enjoy this reading, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!